Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Hello?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Austin? Oh, hey,
Yeah,
what's up? How's it going?
good. You look tired.
I am very tired. Yeah. Oh, man. I did not make it far in this exercise set. Had a very long weekend and I left this to do today.
Okay.
Um,
Um.
how was the conference?
Oh, the zero knowledge one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really intense. Just like a lot of stuff, and yeah, I've like a lot of things to read up on.
Uh-huh. I'm
But it was
sure.
good. Yeah,
Right.
because it was a good mix of like industry people and academics.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Were there like Starkware people there?
Uh, no, I don't know. I don't think not officially. Maybe a few. I mean, I guess Alessandro Chiesa was there, but I guess he's like always there.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so what's new with you in your like how are you're still probably teaching, right? And still
No, I'm not teaching anymore. So I'm just like I've like cut everything. So I'm not being paid by them. So I'm free.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Are you still taking classes?
No. I was done with classes.
Oh, okay, you were just teaching.
Yeah, I was teaching and I was tidying up like research things. But I guess now I can just like study this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've been studying this. I've been studying a bit of cryptography.
Oh, cool.
What else? And I need to catch up with like what's been happening in Ethereum.
Right. Yeah. I feel like just from like the week in Ethereum newsletter, there's just so much stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I just apply a filter like okay, zero knowledge, not zero knowledge. I just don't read it
That's
unless it's like
nice.
ETH2 or something. ETH2
Yeah.
read. Yeah.
Right. True.
Yeah. I actually think this set is relatively straightforward.
This exercise set?
Yeah, I don't think I finished everything, but I think it's more straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just went through the lecture,
Okay.
but didn't get to the exercise set. Yeah, maybe we should. Here, let me message. Oh, there's Ed.
Okay.
Hey, Ed.
Hey, Kevin. Hey,
How's it
Austin.
Oh, and
How's it going?
It's going great. How about you?
It's going all right. Pretty tired. Didn't honestly drop the ball on this one. I left it for today, and didn't get through any of the exercises as well. Um,
Man, even the best of us are falling.
yeah, I know. Oh my goodness, I am ashamed of myself today.
Welcome to my feeling every week.
yeah.
But I think I think Austin did some of them.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like I finally caught up a bit over the weekend.
Yeah, sorry, Austin. I just saw your message about uploading the discussions. I can
Oh yeah, no problem.
I can do that. I actually think they're on YouTube, but I just never shared the links. So I can do that after the session.
Okay. Let's see.
So I guess I don't know what you guys think, but I was thinking maybe we should just like run through the lecture notes and just make sure we all understand it, because I found some of it kind of confusing.
Okay.
Um, So I mean, here, let me share my screen and we can go through it maybe.
Hadley tablet.
Okay. Okay, so in a single item auction, the set of outcomes, there's there's n plus one possible outcomes. That was
Yeah.
that was explaining that. So like the n outcomes are the n people, the n different people winning, and then the one extra outcome is if no one wins, right?
For single item auction.
Yeah. Okay.
Or is it the valuation corresponding to like is the last one the valuation, like the sale price? I don't know. It's probably not that.
Well, it's the n plus one elements in the set of outcomes, right? What do you mean the sale price?
So in a single item auction, then yeah, sorry. That's wrong. So it would be yeah, correct. The last one is just when nobody wins.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to double check that. And then let's see my notes. The standard. I thought this was kind of weird to me. Like, so we assume that the valuation of an agent is 0 in all the n outcomes in which it doesn't win. I guess that feels weird to me because, like, I mean, your valuation still stays the same. So are we just setting it to 0 basically? We're just saying like,
yeah, I think you value not winning at 0.
okay. So in this case, does valuation mean like, let's say I value it at 100, and in the one outcome where I win, I pay 80. Does that mean my valuation is 20 then? Like this doesn't say utility, it says valuation.
I think in the single parameter case, I think the valuation would be like I value getting the good at 100. So I'm willing to pay up to 100 for it.
Mm-hmm.
I value not getting the good at 0. So I'm not willing to like give any money or take any money in exchange for not getting the good. I think that's I think that might be a way to think about it. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Right.
Yeah, that's weird though, because that's kind of different from the way that we've been talking about valuations.
I guess if someone knows that this outcome is like I'm not going to win, then the valuation I guess is 0.
Yeah, I value the outcome of nothing happening at 0.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Example is not without plausible. Okay.
So I guess in this hypothetical example, okay, so in the outcome where I win the bid, acquiring the startup, I have a high valuation. But I might have different non-zero valuations depending on who else wins.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess maybe.
So you could maybe say like, I value this startup, being bought by someone in a different market at like $10 or something. Like
Mhm.
you can have an actual number value on that. Like the
Yeah,
amount you'd be willing to pay to have this outcome happen.
yeah. I think the idea is like in the past we were restricting the outcomes to um, either I get it or I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Now as in like the valuations only depend on I get it or I don't. But now my valuations can take in more parameters. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Let's see. So in every general mechanism design environment, there's a DSIC welfare maximizing mechanism.
Mm.
Yeah, so this formula here,
Mm.
okay, so we have all these bids and we allocate. So this is saying this is the maximum. So of all the different outcomes, I'm maximizing the sum of all of the bids. And the bid is, we're setting the bid, are we setting the bid equal to 0 if you don't win? Because the valuation is 0 if you don't win?
Not necessarily. So in this case, I think it would be it can depend on other people not winning, but um, you would just take the outcome that maximizes this anyway.
Yeah, but I guess my question is like in a normal auction, no matter who wins, all of the bids are the same, right? In a Victory auction or something. So wouldn't that sum always be the same? This is saying using their sort of
Right.
their change that they're setting the valuation to 0. What if I don't win, right?
Mhm.
Wait, I don't think I quite understand.
Like in a normal Victory auction, everyone's going to bid their valuation, and their valuation is technically it's going to be the same. The amount that they're willing to pay for an item is going to stay the same, no matter what the outcome is. So the thing that's kind of confusing to me is this sum should always be the same value.
Mm-hmm.
But is this using this altered definition that like we just set the value of an agent to 0
Mm.
in all the cases that they don't win? So then this really turns into pick the outcome where the highest bidder wins.
Maybe where the sum of the values for all the bidders,
Mm-hmm.
given that they can have non-zero values even when they don't get the item,
Mm-hmm.
is maximized.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that always be the same? Right? Like if I win, I'm still going to bid $10 if that's my valuation of something. If someone else wins, I still would have bid $10, no?
Not in this case, because you might value the outcome of one person winning over some other person winning.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think we're changing up this whole valuation thing. It's really confusing, but I think it's like given the outcome, what's your value of the outcome?
Right.
Does that make
Okay.
sense? Is that what we're doing now? It's
Yeah.
because that's so annoying if it is. Like,
Yeah.
how come he didn't say something? It's like, oh, before this, it was just like, oh, yeah, DSIC and like just your valuation, and you can express it, and it doesn't change given the other participants or whatever. But now it's like this. I'm pretty sure it's like, yeah, given an outcome,
Mhm.
what do you value the outcome at?
Yeah, now it's very before it was very clean because like you don't care about anyone else. Now you care about everybody else. So
At least as you're trying to define the outcome sets and like the yield almost, or like,
Right. Oh, so okay. So I get it. So this is assuming that your bid changes with different outcomes.
yeah.
Okay. I feel like I still am not fully getting how this is like welfare maximizing. Like think of the case where I don't know, let's say you have 10 bidders. In one outcome they all bid $10, then you'll have like 100. The sum will be 100.
well,
Um
that's only if all of them um, want a given outcome $10 worth.
so that's saying they all have to be awarded, like they all have to win the item or something. Like if they don't.
They don't all have to win the item, but you can think of it like this: like, say that there's a few different schools that are competing over an ice cream truck, and whatever school gets the highest average test scores in their math tests gets the ice cream truck for the year or something like that. So each kid at that school, well, this isn't really quite so accurate, but you can think of it along the same lines. Like a kid doesn't, or excuse me, whoever gets the highest average out of the whole school district, whatever student gets the highest average, or like raises the most lemonade money or something like that, gets the ice cream truck for their school. So from my point of view, the outcome where the student next to me gets the highest test scores is the same as the outcome as if I get the highest test scores. And therefore I'm impartial to like which one of those outcomes occurs. It's just that like just because I'm not winning the race, like raising the most money, or in this case, winning the allocation or something, doesn't mean that I have doesn't mean that I have a zero value for that outcome. All I care about is that my school gets the ice cream truck.
Right.
Is that helpful at all?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the idea is to imagine like this outcome set is enlarged to instead of just
Yeah, I think what tripped me up was like the term valuation. It feels to me like this is more of like payoff, no, right? Like I'm maximizing.
yeah. I think the way maybe to think of that I think about valuation is like it is
Or,
it more reflects what like how much like what you would trade for that outcome, if that makes sense.
mhm. It feels like utility.
Yeah, yeah. It should be like measured the same way.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is definitely a different way of thinking than we have been, I think.
Right, like previously you could have a valuation of, $10 and not win something.
Yeah, and it's independent of the outcome.
Yeah.
Right. Got it. Okay. Okay. I think that's starting to make sense. And I also just rewrote this paragraph and like I tried to translate it. I was just trying to, so the second step is to define a payment rule that when coupled with the above allocation rule yields a DSIC mechanism. So basically saying we're going to pay out amounts so that everyone bids honestly regardless of everyone else's bids. And Meyerson's lemma. Recall that Meyerson's lemma asserts that allocation rule monotonicity is necessary and sufficient for implementability, and for monotone rules, it gives an explicit formula for the unique payment rule that meets the DSIC condition. So it requires if you bid more, you get more, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so where was I going with this? Okay. I don't know, maybe we can cover this part. So so now we're defining the welfare maximizing allocation rule as the externality caused by an agent I.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and just really quick, Kevin, it makes sense that Meyerson's lemma is like way trickier to express here or something because of, because we're shifting this like concept of valuation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes sense that Meyerson's lemma is not going to just easily shift with it. Like, we need to figure out how to apply, if we can, Meyerson's lemma into this like new, this concept of valuation that we're now struggling with. It's like, well, yeah, that's a problem for Meyerson's lemma.
Right.
Because
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
It could be confusing if I bid more, I get more. Well, if I bid more, or if I get more, then I might want to bid less or something. Like it could be a thing where like if I change my bid and it changes the outcome, maybe I wouldn't even want that outcome. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. And now it's like, the outcome set might not depend only on your bid. And so how do you talk about monotonicity in that case? Like when everybody else is, or when you have evaluation for other outcomes and it's not as simple as like just you bidding more.
Yeah, I think it's really the examples in the end which kind of show it. It's like if you know you're gonna lose, but you prefer somebody to lose over somebody else, it starts to get into real strategic things.
Right.
Something along those lines.
That makes sense. Okay. I guess this like sort of mental framework makes sense of like sort of modeling your payment as what you pay of your valuation or your bid minus like with a rebate. So this syntax, I guess I get like the general idea. Do you guys understand exactly what the syntax is? So this is the bid of omega star, which is
this is from
just a given outcome. So my bid minus the sum from j equals 1 to n of is this everyone else's bid?
No, this is everybody's bid.
Oh, okay. Everyone's bid, right? Okay, everyone's bid minus the maximum welfare.
This is the
Wait.
this is the welfare if I wasn't around.
Right.
Mm.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So it's the current welfare minus the maximum welfare without I. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, yeah, it's the sign, but yeah, that's it.
And so if we picked here the maximum welfare outcome, then we would get the rebate would be 0, right? Because those two terms on the right are the same.
If what?
If we picked the that maximizes the welfare or whatever.
Yeah, I mean well, not necessarily. I think this would be 0 if adding my bid doesn't increase the welfare.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the questions on the set. So, yeah.
What is it?
Good. Yeah, this is good to talk through.
Which problem was this?
This is 29.
Okay. Should we try to do that right now? I don't know.
Yeah, we can.
Prove that the payment PIB made by here, let me pull it up. Prove that the payment PIB made by bidder I the VCG mechanism is at least 0 and at most BI of omega star. Omega star is the outcome chosen by the mechanism. Okay. Okay, well, that's kind of trivial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like we could say the minimum value that this can be, because a bid can't be negative, is this can be like by definition this adds in just one bid. This adds in bidder I. So if bidder I doesn't affect anything, then this is 0.
Yeah, it has to be 0. Otherwise, otherwise the mechanism screwed up. It's just
Oh, you're trying to prove that this rebate has to be less than the bid.
Yes.
For that part.
It has to be between 0 and the bid.
Yeah. Okay. So but it has to be 0 because you can have negative bids, basically. Bidder I can't bid negative.
Yeah, it has to be greater than 0 because otherwise that means that you could have otherwise it's like you could have had a better result by just not including bidder I.
Right. Okay.
So just to be clear, this could evaluate to something negative, right?
No.
But it's just that we would never select that the mechanism would never select that outcome set.
Yeah. So you would never select an omega star such that this was negative.
Right.
Okay. I see what you're saying. So you're saying if I add my bid, it could change the outcome in a way that lowers the total welfare.
Yeah.
If you had a poorly designed mechanism.
And if we're inspecting a certain outcome set, which would not be the outcome set that the mechanism chooses. So it would have to be like a really poor choice.
Like there is an outcome where me taking a test in the ice cream scenario results in no one getting ice cream. Like that's a possible outcome.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
But yeah, so how do we prove that it's not going to be one of those outcomes, Austin? Can we just say because then
you
is there
could
some,
because if the second term is bigger than the first term, the second term in the bracket is bigger than the first term, then omega star is actually less optimal than the omega chosen in the second term.
right? So you should have just chosen that omega instead.
So we should have chosen that omega.
So you're basically contradicting the fact that it's welfare maximizing.
Yeah.
Got it. Makes sense. And the reason it's at most the bid of omega star is because
Reason is at most. Reason is at most is because the biggest difference is yeah. I don't think I just because the second term, the biggest it can ever be is the second term, the biggest it can ever be is the first term less bi.
yeah, but how do we know that the rebate can be at most bi?
Oh, why is it at most? That's a good justification.
Because could you say that like, yeah, adding bid I increases everyone's bids in some weird outcome? Like there could be an outcome where like everyone likes Verizon a lot, and if Verizon wins, then like everyone's more happy than in the other case, than before Verizon was in the auction. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
But it has to be maximal. So the maximum value that the second term can
B is 0. The rebate.
I guess.
And the whole point there is that, look, you know that you've chosen the optimal outcome. Because doesn't the rebate term evaluate to 0 when? Okay, so right here we're on the rebate, just on the rebate part of the equation. We're like trying. So W star is like we're trying like these different outcomes, right? Yeah. And that's the term on the left side of the rebate, and then on the right side of the rebate, we're not trying different outcomes anymore. We're just saying, out of all the outcomes, the one that maximizes the bids, we're using that one.
Yeah, without I.
Right, without I. And so the mechanism is going to select the W star that is the same kind of W star as the right side of the rebate equation. So, and in that case, does this rebate part of the equation always evaluate to 0?
Yeah, I think that's.
Wait, in which case is it? Sorry. In which case is their value to 0?
The case where W star is the same W in omega that maximizes the summation of the bids without I. So like just given that rebate term here, we're picking a W on the left side and on the right side, right? On the left side, we're picking whatever outcome set we want to inspect.
Yeah.
And on the right side, we're picking a W that we actually don't get to pick. It's already chosen for us. And it's the one that maximizes
welfare.
Yeah. Yeah. So that will give.
I think the part. Yeah.
Sorry.
The part I'm unclear about is how do we know that this rebate term is at most BI?
Why
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Not PI is at most BI.
Well, I think that part we can prove. Yeah, that part we can prove by saying that this can't be negative.
I think that yeah. I think we really only need to look at the rebate term. So before we said the rebate term.
Basically we have to say that the rebate term is between 0 and BI of omega star.
So before we got that, it's definitely bigger than 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think to justify that it has to be less than BI of omega star is
I mean, it's just as simple as saying, like you can't. Well, anyway.
There's a B.
I mean, I guess is it actually just trivial? Is it just like because we're adding BI to the sum, so at most it can increase by BI? Like let's say we
At first, but now I'm starting to think it's not so.
Really, because we can say like, so let's say omega star is the same outcome as the right part. Let's say this outcome is the same as this outcome, right? Adding BI will increase it by BI. And let's say it's a different outcome. It'll increase it by it'll increase it by BI, but we know that whatever outcome we've chosen is less than this.
Correct. I think you can make a similar argument. So it has to be at most BI, because if it was anything more than BI, then that increase would have had to come from something else going down in the second term. But that's also a contradiction, because
true.
Because the fact that this omega star exists means that means you picked the wrong omega in the second term.
Wait, say that again?
So if it was bigger than BI, then the only way you got that extra increase is from some other BJ some BJ of omega star being greater than BJ of omega. But that cannot be the case, because then otherwise you could do omega star get rid of bi, and then you have a bigger second term.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. I think I realize now that I fucked up with this sum. I was thinking like it was a different set of outcomes where there is no bit or I. But this is just saying take the same sum, but just don't add in it's like the same set of outcomes, but just don't add in the bit or I's. Okay. So the set of outcomes is the same, right? So yeah. Yeah, I guess it is pretty trivial then.
Yeah, I think I have the intuition here now. When we think of this, like this new idea of valuation, which is like, oh, your valuation given a outcome set, it's like, so the term on the left is like, okay, so if my friend wins, gets, bids the highest for this ice cream truck, then I get ice cream truck for a year or two. So like, that's my value on the left side given some outcome. Oh crap! Wow, what a train wreck. And so whatever value I end up at, oh man, I'm so close to being able to explain it. Basically, the term on the left is going to be the highest when never mind. I'll try to get back around to it. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's I think it kind of makes sense intuitively now. This is saying maximizing welfare for everyone except for bit or I. And this is the welfare of everyone.
Yep.
So at most, the maximized welfare can be, at most, the welfare can be the maximized welfare without bit or I plus bit or I's welfare.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for that to be something different, you would have to have a different max, a different right part of the rebate.
Yeah. You could also prove this just like with contradiction. You could say like, assume that this side of the equation can be greater than bit of I. That means that that means that this welfare is greater than this welfare plus bit of I. But the only term that's not included in this one is bit of I, and we assume that this is the maximized welfare. So if you found something where like bit of I, where that is true, then this wasn't maximized in the first place.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. So for 20. So did we just do exercise 29?
Yeah.
Cool. How many did you get through, Austin?
Not very many. I got to this, the 2 goods and 3 bidders one, the really strange thing at the end of the lecture.
Oh, 31. Okay. Let's see what else there is. Actually, yeah. Did you guys want to go over like um, in combinatorial auctions? Yeah, like where they got these numbers. So do you understand why? So why are there's n plus one to the m? Okay, so there's a set of m items, and okay, and no item can be allocated twice. There's n plus one to the m different outcomes. Oh, so a single bidder can get multiple items, is what it's saying.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Do you know what like formula they use to calculate this? Okay, so yeah, why is it n plus one to the m?
N plus 1 to
N.
Oh, imagine a n plus 1 by m matrix.
Okay.
It's as before. It's just that there are m items. So for each item you have m plus 1 outcomes, and then so you just multiply. Oh wait, to the m. No. It's not that. Is it to the m or is it just multiplied?
They say n plus one to the m. So it has to do with these vectors. The set of items allocated to bidder I, its bundle.
M items, and bidders. M items and bidders.
So each outcome set looks like each outcome set contains n vectors.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? In each outcome set, there are n vectors, one for each bidder.
Yeah. In each of those sets, and each of those sets can be anywhere from like 0 to m, right? Or it can.
Each outcome set contains n vectors with m items in each vector.
I think there's
Okay.
a
Right.
you could also think of it as n is much larger than m, I think. And so
Sometimes.
no, that's not good. That's not a good assumption.
So I guess like in the case where there's, let's say, there's one person and m is 2. So they can either get 2 items, 1 item, the other item, or 0 items. So it's, So
Mhm.
their vector. There's one vector. That vector has
There's one vector per outcome set. So as you said, you just listed, I think, 4 different outcome sets. The case where they get both items.
there's just
The case
one
where they get
outcome set, right? Oh, before outcomes, you mean? In the set?
Yeah, there's 4 outcomes in the set.
Okay.
And each outcome contains one vector, which is
The set of items to the
the
single.
set of items that the guy gets.
Mm-hmm.
So one vector looks like, 1, comma 1. The other one, another vector in a different outcome set looks like 1, comma 0, 0, 1, and 0, 0.
Right. Okay. And then if I add another item in there, yeah, that increases the number of options. It doubles the number of options. That doubles
The number of
different outcomes for that set.
outcomes. Does it double it or? Yeah. It gets exponentially bigger.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay. I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I think.
It's just all the
Imagine-
different combinations of all the M items.
Yeah. So there are M bins. Into each of the M bins, you can throw N things
Mm-hmm.
or nothing. So there are N plus 1 things to throw in each bin, and this happens M times. So N plus 1 to the M.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does that turn into 2 to the M private parameters? So everyone has a private valuation for each bundle of items it might get.
That's 2 to the M is the number of so it's like 1 or 0 on each of the M things.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Cool. All right. Thanks for explaining that. Yeah. Did you guys get this last part? I think it was just talks about indirect auctions. So is it saying that indirect auctions are good, or it's saying they're not ideal?
Wait, where is this?
This is like page 5. This is indirect auctions are unavoidable.
Oh, I think it's saying that because there is
2 to the M private valuations.
because of the 2 to the M thing,
Mm.
you have to do an indirect auction.
Right. Because no one's going to submit to the M things.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
I guess we could try doing 30.
Yeah, do you guys want to try 31? So consider two goods A and B and three bidders. Bidder 1 has valuation 1 for A and B together and 0 otherwise. Okay. Bidder 2 has valuation 1 for A and 0 otherwise. Bidder number 3 has valuation 1 for B and 0 otherwise. Compute the VCG allocation and payments when only the first two bidders are present. Do the same when all three bidders are present. Can adding an extra bidder ever decrease the revenue of the Vickery single item auction? Give a brief explanation. Okay, so if the first two bidders are present, what would the allocation be? Aren't there multiple optimal allocations?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So either you just, I don't know, you could, there's a bunch, right? You could give A to V2 and then not give B to anyone. You could give A and B to V2. You could give A and B to V1.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, but we need to calculate the payments.
Yeah.
With the rebate thing.
Well, this last part, can adding an extra bidder ever decrease the revenue of the Vickery auction? So is he suggesting that we're going to auction off A and B separately?
It's a single item. I think this might be a follow-up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Gotcha. My bad.
this one, no. No.
This is a no, right?
This is no.
Yeah. Okay. So going back to this, did you write out your answer, Austin? Would you be able to share it?
I'm not sure. I didn't really do it out. I only caught what he was saying in the lecture.
Okay.
I didn't do it out.
Okay, so VCG allocation payments. So let's go look at the payments rule. So the payments rule was this. Okay. I don't think that helps us. Wait.
Yeah, I get why the revenue is going down.
Okay, maybe I should somewhere I can write this out. If I can write this out and text it. It's not going to be pretty. Yeah, wait, so how do we compute the VCG allocation? Let's just figure that out. Well, this is the maximal, it's maximizing the sum of the bids, right? In a specific outcome.
Is maximizing, yeah, some of the bids. For various outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Can the sum of the bids ever be 2? It can't.
No.
Oh wait, no, never mind. No. Yeah, the allocation could be like any of those three things, and then the maximum welfare would be 1 in all those cases, right?
Yeah, so if the allocate, okay, so if it was AB, then AB, then the allocation rule is just randomly give it to 1 or 2. If the outcome is A, then give it to 2. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Does it say to do like to randomize if there's
I
split
no,
time?
but ran but you gotta pick somehow.
Right. Okay.
The welfare is.
So you could just say randomly pick one of those two, or one of those three options.
Let's see,
So then when the third bidder is added, then the maximal welfare becomes 2.
yeah.
And you should give A to bidder 2 and B to bidder 3.
Yes. So the problem is that the price that you end up charging bidder B and bidder 3 and bidder 2 ends up going down to 0.
Oh.
Each increase the welfare by 1. I mean, because adding one of them increases the welfare by 1. I think that's the idea.
So they pay. Why would they pay 0 then?
Oh, because of the way the payments are determined in the mechanism.
Here?
Yeah, because okay, so the payment rule would be the maximum without it, which is 1, minus the maximum over the rest of them without it, which is still 1. So you end up charging 0 for 3 and 0 for 2.
Or doesn't this rebate term evaluate to 0? Because you said that the right part of it evaluates to 1, and then I think doesn't the left part of it evaluate? Oh, yeah, the left part of it evaluates to 1 as well.
Yeah, the rebate evaluates to 1 and the bid evaluates to 1. Yeah.
I thought the rebate evaluates to 0, maybe.
No, because in the rebate the first term goes up to 2 and then the second term is still 1.
Right.
Oh, okay. I see.
So this is talking about if we add bidder 3.
Yeah.
If we add bidder 3, the welfare for everyone, the maximum welfare we can do is 2.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can just give bidder 3 B, and we can give bidder 2 A.
Yep.
So this is 2. Bidder 3's bid is 1. This is 1 minus 2 minus the maximum if we remove bidder
B,
B,
which is plus,
is 1. Bidder 3, I mean, yeah, is 1. So then you get 1 minus 2 minus 1, which is 0. Okay, so they both pay 0.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Wait, but in the other case, is someone paying something? So let's do that.
Yeah, because in the other one,
Oh, I see. Yeah. You're right. I see. Okay. So in the other case, let's say we're talking about removing bidder one, or bidder one is I in this case. I is one. So the payment of bidder one is their bid, which is one for AB, for getting AB, minus one minus the maximum. If we remove bidder one, we can still get a welfare of one by just giving AB to bidder two. So this is one minus one minus one.
Yeah.
So they'll actually pay one. And the same reasoning applies to bidder two, right?
Yeah.
Bidder two will also pay one.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hmm.
So we've actually decreased the revenue by adding this third bidder.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Two bidders.
This just feels very strange. Like this formula, like I don't know. The fact that it can evaluate to 0 is just confusing to me. Like,
Um,
why do you have a payment formula that can have people paying 0?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I think if you look at the charging an agent is externality, it's almost like when this third bidder enters, you get it creates this welfare increase, and so like somehow it deserves to be subsidized.
Right. So we're not maximizing revenue anymore.
Yeah, because
Right.
it's still welfare maximizing.
So this is saying like I have all these different options. If this other guy comes in, I can give him something for free and make everyone happier.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't hurt any of the existing people, so I might as well just give it to him for free to maximize welfare.
mm-hmm.
Right. Because this is talking about spectrum auctions
Mm-hmm.
where we're trying to maximize like people's connectivity or whatever. Like we don't actually care about how much, or hopefully we don't care how much Verizon, AT&T pay. We just want the service to be the best. We want to make a public good. Yeah.
Hmm. Bless you.
I guess that makes sense. If I have a spare thing that I don't need that will increase the welfare, I could just give it away for free. It's definitely a
Is that
big.
the SIC? Because
Yeah,
doesn't it seem in this case like you would do better submitting a false valuation?
Yeah, so like if there were two people who had that AV thing,
could you improve
and
by?
being given nothing by the mechanism,
Uh-huh.
they can probably get more if they collude and lie to split AB somehow. Yes.
But we're assuming that you can't collude
Uh,
in
you
all
can
of these auctions.
still submit suitable false bids,
What?
but like say that they both somehow uh, lied in a like a coherent fashion. Like say there was like a V4 with
Uh-huh.
AB equals 1.
Okay.
And somehow both V1 and V4 lie, and V1 says that it values A at 1 and V4 says it values B at 1. I think now both of them get positive utility. Like they have some chance of winning.
Wait, why would bidder one? Bidder one doesn't value just getting A. What do you mean?
But you can lie.
But why would they lie in that case?
But they,
like in that outcome where they get A, they actually don't value it at anything. So there's no point in lying to do that.
yeah, maybe this is not too good.
Because it seems like all of the outcome set takes into account these changing situations.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so you're saying the VCG has already kind of thought of those.
Yeah. Like if I didn't want bidder 3 to win, well, oh yeah, well. Oh, so we're saying that bidder 1 has an incentive. They don't want bidder 3 to be added because then they have 0 chance of winning. Whereas in the other case, if we randomly picked it, they would have a 1/3 chance of winning, of getting something they want, right?
Yeah.
I think what's confusing to me is that this has there's like different outcome sets depending on if there's 3 bidders or 2 bidders, right? Like, I mean, yeah. I think I don't know. I think my brain just stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think 32 and 33 are just making more things up with
Mm-hmm.
this example.
Okay, should we look at them real quick?
Sure.
Sure.
Show that the following is possible. 2 bidders in a combinatorial auction are given no goods by the BCG mechanism if they bid truthfully, yet both can achieve positive utility if they both submit suitable false bids. Oh, wait, this is your question. That's what Ed mentioned.
It is.
Okay, well, so in this case, bidder 1 could improve. In the case with 3 bidders, bidder 1 could improve their utility. If they bid falsely, could they?
Yeah.
How would they do that? I guess if this was like, let's say this valuation was 0.5 or something, then bidder I could bid. Wait, no, that doesn't work.
I think what can be done is to introduce basically to increase the number of like parameters in these valuations. So like say in addition to this A/B thing, bidder 1 really doesn't want bidder 3 to win, say.
Mm-hmm.
and then and therefore if bidder 3 enters, then bidder 1 is gonna lie.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, this one, I mean, this is coming up with an example. Maybe we should just save this for next week.
Okay.
Consider a combinatorial auction in which a bidder can submit multiple bids under different names, unbeknownst to the mechanism. The allocation and payment of a bidder is the union and sum of the allocation and payments, respectively assigned to all of its pseudonyms. Show that the following is possible. A bidder in a combinatorial auction can earn higher utility from the VCG mechanism by submitting multiple bids than by bidding truthfully. Oh, that makes sense. The reason why isn't this is like almost always the case, right? Because if you're taking the payment rule, right? Let's say I'm the only bidder. I'm going to be paying. Oh wait. Yeah. Wait, yeah. If I'm the only bidder. Yeah, if I'm the only bidder, let's say my bid is 10. I'm going to be paying 10 minus. Oh wait, this could be 10 minus. Wait, maybe I didn't think this through enough. My bad. I want to make this as
big as possible, right?
big as possible.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of an example off the top of my head.
Well, if you go back to there real quick, and if you just look at the left term of the rebate, I mean, it makes sense that you want that to be big, and you can do that by submitting a bunch of fake bids.
Yeah.
Although, does that change the outcome, or like, what does that have to do with W?
I mean, I think you can just imagine a situation where like you want A, B, and you value it more than the sum. So what you do is you put false bids for A and B, which are say 1, even though you value the sum at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or something. And the mechanism wouldn't be able to tell.
I see. So you can add fake bids. So are you saying you can add fake bids such that this maximum increases? So you create a new outcome where the maximum without the bid that I want to win is higher.
Yeah.
And that will make this whole thing smaller. No, that'll make this whole thing. Wait, that would make things worse, no? Wait, can you say your example again, also? I thought you were saying you're increasing the maximum welfare without I.
Oh, I was just like it's a really small example. So okay, let's say there's one bidder and two bids.
Okay.
I value A and B together at 3.
Okay. Bidder 1 does.
Bidder 1.
Okay.
No other bidders in the system. So under this, then the mechanism would make me pay oh wait, no. Oh, actually, maybe it's better to go back to the yeah, maybe it's better to go back to the first example. So like there are two bidders, and let's say AB is valued by bidder 1 at 3.
Okay.
So the mechanism would make bidder 1 pay 2, I think. Is that correct? It would
Yes.
pay.
Yeah, he would pay 2. No, he'd pay
No.
1.
No, no.
He'd pay 1, right? Wouldn't it be 3 minus 1?
I don't have intuition for
Yeah. Maybe we should just say this for next time.
that. Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah. Is exercise 34 hard? Let's see.
Oh, I haven't gone. I haven't gone to that lecture.
Yeah, neither have I. I was thinking maybe we should just like do these 3 for next time. So this is only one question, maybe? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Just one. I think 30 is pretty straightforward, because 30 is the case where like everything splits evenly. It was tested for M separate auctions and none of them talk to each other. So it just goes back to like Vickery auction done M times.
Wait, bidder I can be described by M private parameters. Okay.
Yeah, because it's instead of being described by like this massive outcome space, it's just described by how much each good is valued. Which doesn't make sense. Like toothbrush plus toothpaste is definitely more useful than toothbrush only or toothpaste only.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this is not very realistic.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe it works for like toothbrush and shower cap or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess that it makes sense at a high level. Should we quickly look at 28 maybe?
Oh, 28.
So why were the reserve prices? So the reserve prices were particularly effective for valuable keywords. I had a few bidders. Give at least 2 examples of keywords that you think might have these properties. Explain your reasoning in 1 to 2 sentences. Valuable keywords that have very few bidders. Like some really niche.
Yeah, I think that's
like chiropractor service or something.
yeah.
Like a niche consultancy or
Law.
Yeah, like law for weird cases. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then you need somebody else that's also bidding, but maybe that doesn't have a very competitive second bid. Is that what the thing is?
Yeah. Well, I guess. Well, it seems like maybe the reason why that's so effective for these is because people are willing to pay above the reserve price. Like their valuation is above the reserve price, but there's not enough competition for me to actually bid that amount.
Right, because the other bidders have really low bids. Is that what it is?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I mean, below 10 cents per click.
Yeah, maybe. Or at least below the new reserve price.
Oh, right.
I wonder if this might also apply for keywords of like your own personal brand or something. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like then it's like very dependent on how much you value your personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what Google does stuff where like ads are cheaper depending on like how related your website is. So like if your website, you know, is whatever, if you're like coca-cola.com, the ads are a lot cheaper to buy for keyword Coke than if you're some other drink. So there's
That's
also
cool.
some notion of like social welfare, I think, involved there.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, how do you make the search the ads actually good for the user? Relevancy score. Okay, cool. So do you guys want to do, so we did 28, 29. I think we got 31. Yeah, we did get 31.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 30, 32, and 33. Hopefully we can go over those next session, and 34 if it doesn't turn
Okay.
out to be too hard. In the next lecture. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think the best way to help this group. I think like I definitely found that like a lot of these, there's just so much jargon now. Like they'll have like a sentence that just has all of these terms. I just like every word I have to stop and remember what it is. So I think I'm gonna make the flashcards, the Anki flashcards, and hopefully that'll be helpful, at least for myself and you guys too. Just for some terms that we covered.
If anybody wants to have like a midpoint meeting to go over the next lecture or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Okay,
just
yeah.
like how we did today, how we just went through the lecture 7 notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. That was super
definitely do
helpful
that.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm
Cool.
down. I'm pretty free at this time any day.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, maybe like Wednesday or Thursday or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Do you want to do that for lecture 8?
Yeah.
How does Thursday work? Let me double check my calendar.
Yeah, Thursday sounds good.
Yep, I can do Thursday.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna add that in. So Thursday, same time, 6 to 7:30.
Sounds good.
Work through this. Awesome.
Okay. May not be able to make it, but I'll try.
Okay.
Maybe a little.
I'd also be down to meet up sometime during this week, Austin, if you want to just co-work or whatever.
Sure.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right, well, okay. I feel a lot better about this lecture now. That was really helpful.
I feel so much better.
Yeah, I'm slowly piecing it together.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully I'm going to make these flashcards and then get back on the horse.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm still mad at him for just like changing the idea of valuations.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing to me still, but yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a way to apply it, which is like going
It's
to make
almost,
sense with how
yeah.
we've been talking about valuations this whole time. But like,
Maybe it's like, maybe it's, I don't know, I just thought this might be wrong, but is it like instead of my valuation for an item, it's my valuation of an outcome?
Yeah, because
yeah, I think so.
So in the outcome where I win the item, my valuation is my actual valuation. Yeah. In the outcome where I don't get it, my valuation is 0. I value that outcome at 0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
How
but
much?
we've always been talking about like, oh, just bid your valuation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's confused. I mean, I guess that is still the case here, right? You are still bidding your valuation for an outcome, but yeah, it's almost like instead of me putting a price on an item, I'm putting a price on an outcome. How much would you pay for this outcome? How much would you bid for this outcome?
Yeah, I guess the introduction of the outcome set really just buckles the, or like, you know, you just got to like kind of rehash the terminology, I guess.
Yeah,
Like make it more explicit. Anyway, it was super helpful. So now I'm feeling pretty confident about the terminology.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for thanks for helping with like some of these terms, Austin.
Yeah.
That was helpful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so okay, great. All right, so I'll see you, Ed, on Thursday. We can go through some of lecture 8, and Austin, you may or may not be there.
Yeah.
Cool. And then do you want to just do Monday at the same time to just go over the solutions?
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Have a good week.
You too.
Yep, you too.
Bye.